Welcome, I am Sampstra Games and I'm gonna walk you through authority and characters in Field of Glory Kingdoms. This video is sponsored by Slytherin. You can see your authority up here and you can see your current authority and the planned changes for the following turn. Authority ranges from -100 to +100. The main effect of authority are progress and aging tokens. You can click on your nation panel and then here on authority disorder, and this will show you a table. This is the comparison of the current authority of all nations, and you will see this at the end of each turn. If you are on the top tier, which is marked by being green, which is what we are, you have a chance to get a progress token every turn. If you're in the middle, then nothing happens, and if you're on the bottom, which is marked here by this orange, then you have a chance to get an aging token. If you get to 5 progress or aging tokens, you will either decrease in your stability stage or increase. If you are on the edge of stability stages, which there are 5 of them, you can jump to the next level or potentially next civilization tier. We'll go more over this in a different tutorial. Now, a huge part of the game is balancing to keep your authority up so you can get good progress tokens, and using authority because there is so much you can use it for. So let's go over that, and we'll start with my favorite edict. So you can click on a region, and in a region you can build buildings, and the way this works is that for each category you have one option. But if you don't like any of these options, you can click over here and you can use your national authority to pick a different buildings, and there's quite a lot of choices. How much it costs depends on your level of authority, what's your stability level, and also type of a building. So let's say I really want to build this candle shop. So if you look at our authority now, you can see that we're gaining 0.5, but if I click on this candle shop, now I'm going to be losing 1.5. You can see this in the line regional edicts and decisions. And this implies there's another way to use authority, and that is for decisions. So you can click here to do regional decisions, and some decisions can cost authority. For example, this SAP authority decision, it sounds like it's going to give you authority, but actually doesn't. It actually costs you authority. What it does, it gives you the progress token. So you can steal a progress token from another nation. Now, another main use of authority is for wars. So if you want to start a war, you have to pay an authority penalty. You typically have to pay a penalty if they're not of the same fate and if you don't have a claim. Now that we know how to use authority, let's talk about how you can gain it. So if you hover over your authority, you can see this information about exactly where you're getting authority from. The main way to gain authority is through this demesne size. As you can see, I'm getting 0.8. And what does that mean? You have a certain maximum demesne size, which you can see on the bottom is 28 for me. And this is basically how many regions you can have. My current regions are 20, so there's an 8 difference, and each region of difference you get 0.1. You need to be below your demesne size, up to a maximum of 1. How to do this? Well, you could obviously have less regions. Another way to do this is putting governors into your region. So here I'm going to show you an example where I have 0.2 in demesne size, and simply by appointing governors, I'm increasing my maximum demesne size, which means I'm increasing the difference, and now I have up to 0.9 demesne size. Another way to get less regions, to increase this difference, would be to turn a province of yours into a vassal. So another way to get authority is through buildings, specifically buildings like palaces and castles. Most likely this is going to be military or stewardship buildings. They give you this bonus authority event. So this is a chance every turn that it will give you authority, and then you can gain up to 3 this way. You can also gain authority through piety and or ownership of holy sites. If you are in the top 10 turns in terms of your piety generation, which we are right here, we're 7th, you gain religious supremacy, which gives you 1 authority per turn. You can also gain authority through a noble. Each turn, a random region is picked from your country. And if that region has at least 2 nobles, there's a 35% chance for every noble above 1 that you have. So if you have 2 nobles, 35% chance. If you have 3 nobles, 70% chance that you will gain 1 authority token. Another way to get authority is through war or battle. In battle, if you conquer a country where you have a claim, if you kill an enemy general, if you succeed in raids, if you win a lot of battles, capture enemy capital, all of those things can give you authority. This can also be increased if you have a good general. Now, ways to lose authority are obviously the business size difference, combat again. So if you lose battles, if other people have claims on your regions and you're not friendly with them, that will also cause you loss of authority. Gifting units through diplomacy. Now, unrest can also cause you to lose authority. You can see it in the descent in conquered lands category. Now, one more really important thing that causes you to lose authority is just if you have a lot of it. There's a certain penalty if you have above 50 authority, which is called sedition from nobility. You can see it over here, and you can see it gives me minus 1.3, so quite a lot of a negative effect. And this gets even bigger if you have over 75 authority. So this is basically making it sure that if you have too much authority, you can't gain more as easily. Next, let's talk about local authority. Local authority is different for every single region, and it is affected by national authority and distance to nearest capital, which can then be modified by your stewardship. So if you have a really good stewardship like I have here, you can see that our national authority is 56. Our distance to capital would have been somewhat far, which would have given us a bad penalty, but because we have a really good stewardship, it actually jumps to average, so we only lose 20. And somewhat far would have given us minus 50, as you can see in this region. You can also pretty significantly increase your local authority by having a governor. Now, why should you care about local authority? Because it affects loyalty and then unit cost. You can see here that, for example, buying a unit of early light archers cost me 26 with 20 upkeep money, and if I were to do the same over here, it costs 21 and 20 upkeep. So you can see that it's cheaper to get here than in Charnaros, where my loyalty and local authority is worse. You can also click here to see your national and local authority overlays. So if you're interested for other people's authority, you can simply hover over a region and it will tell you what their local authority is as well. Now you can see your loyalty and revolt risk for every region over here. Now, if your revolt risk is high, you might end up with unrest. If it's still undealt with, you might end up with rebels who will actually take over your region. Now, these rebels are easy to kill. The problem is, once you kill them, your region will jump into a just conquered status, which will give you a lot of negative penalties. It takes a while, and when it's done, it will then jump into under pacification, which still gives you negative penalties. So this can be really, really bad, because for a long time your region will basically get decimated productivity. The unrest is also increased if you have a population that's not of the same religion as you do. This is why religion conversions are very, very important, because don't end up like me, where you very happily conquer a bunch of regions and then they're completely useless because no one does anything because they don't believe. But we're going to talk about religion conversions in a different tutorial. And here you can see a map of your loyalty. So the different colors are telling you what are your chances of revolt risk. You can also increase loyalty through piety. For example, you can see here that I'm getting 20 piety, and you get 1 loyalty point for every 2 piety points. So I'm getting 10 for loyalty, which is really, really good. So that can be a really quick way to get your loyalty up. Next, let's talk about characters. When you click up here and you can see your leader, and then you click on him, you can see all the relevant characters that you have. So you have your leader. Here you would see a wife or concubines that you might have, sons and daughters, relatives, and other nobles. Especially these relatives and other nobles are other characters that you can assign to be either peer of realms, which are basically governors, or generals, and you can see what you assign to whom by clicking this on this charge selector. So for example, you can see that Miroslav here is a peer of realm, and Raslan on the other hand is a general. Then you can click here to see everybody's health and treasure. Every character has these stats: administration, military, and piety. They range from 0 to 5, offense rating and defense rating, and then some additional stats. and based on what their role they have in your kingdom, they will be utilized. So for example, my leader, his stats in administration, military, and piety gives me these results. I get lowered court expense, increased authority, and increased conversion rate. He also has a perk of unifier, which increases my demesne size. Now, like I said, you can make your characters a general or a governor. When you want to put a general, you click on your army, and then you click here and you pick your general. What you want to be looking at the most are these offense and defense rating, because they make absolutely huge difference in combat, more in my war tutorial. And you can also look at some of these other perks that they have. For example, there are perks that allows you to increase XP, or that give you more authority, and etc. And then you click on that. Now, if you want to assign a governor, you need to click on a province, and you need to have enough regions in said province. Otherwise, you won't be able to appoint a governor. And you want to click here to appoint a peer of renown. The administration affects local stewardship and max national demesne size. Military provides extra experience, and piety helps with conversion. So for example, if I put in, let's say, Diego de Salares, you can see that we get extra local authority, extra XP, and significantly increased chance to religiously convert a population. And he's a logistician, so we get unit upkeep decreased and stack supply. Now, my recommendation is to always pick the generals first, because they make such a big difference in combat, much more than the bonuses you get as a governor. You can make someone be both general and a governor, but it will significantly decrease the administration, military, and party stats if the general is currently assigned to an army. Other stats that the characters have are loyalty and character treasury. So loyalty is very important, because if your character's loyalty is low, they might try to do a coup, and if it succeeds, they basically replace your ruler. Your character treasury is important because one way to increase your character's loyalty is if you send them a gift. You can do it through regional decisions, but if they have a lot of money on their own, that's not going to have much effect. And you also want to set up spy networks so that you can learn their loyalty. But what about the girls? Well, if you have daughters, there's some really fun stuff you can do, and if it works out, it might be even better than a war. You want to pick a country that has a leader with poor or at least a low health. And then you want to befriend them. Then you're gonna marry off your child to them, your girl, and then you can either assassinate a ruler or wait till they die of old age. And now look at this. Because we had that royal marriage and their ruler died, we were able to get a claim to the nation, and they didn't have a strong enough heir that could take over, so instead we took over. So we now completely absorbed Chernigov. So look at this. We went from basically this, over here, we ended here, and this was the Chernigov state, to this absolutely huge area of Halician city-state. This is all of this is ours. Up to here. Huge. Now this does give you some negatives, because now you're obviously over your demand size, so what you wouldn't do at this point is get some things like that. But you can see that you've gotten so much more territory, so much easier than if you went through a war. Let's talk about the ruler's death. If the ruler dies, the heir can be strong or weak. This depends on their age, on whether they're of the same dynasty as the previous ruler, and of your national authority. If they're a weak heir, another contender can rise, like a brother or uncle or other noble, and this can cause civil war. Also, in general, if a ruler dies, a civil war can happen, for example, if your vassal decides to break away from you. Now, when your new king takes over, you will either gain or lose authority, and this depends on your progress tier and on the strength of the heir. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.